This is the Bar Stewards Enquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
And a big warm welcome to the Bar Stewards Inquiry Weekend podcast, where we've got a feast of action from Sandown and York tomorrow, Chester, if you're bothered about that shithole. We've certainly got some ammunition on the show today, and we're hoping we can build those Royal Ascot pots for next week. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce tonight's panel, which is Jonas Lane, Quentin Franks, and Jack Veach. Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening, Lee.
Yes.
No.
Caramilk's in Fleur, John, today?
No. Just jug of red rainer in my fags.
Have you stopped ordering Indians in this weather?
Oh, too hot.
I've never ordering anything in this weather.
No.
Just fags and ribena till it cools down.
Yeah, fair play. Fags and ribena. Love it. Right. You've been on the wine today, Jack, I've seen as well.
Yeah, been out gallivanting today, Lee. Try and take away from a poor week, but I'm feeling optimistic, and I think we're getting back to the good stuff.
Yes, we are indeed.
Strong enough for a bad week, Jack. Haven't got the gin out quite yet. Will be soon, though, I'm sure.
Yeah, oysters for John when he's having a bad week. That cheers him right up. Yeah,
and when I'm having a good week as well. I just had more oysters.
Indeed. Right, without further ado, it's the best bets round where it's 1, 2, and 3 points on selections, and we give our best 3 bets out for the weekend's racing. So, Jonas, I'll come to you to kick us off.
I wish you hadn't really, but here we go. I've kind of had too much on this, and I'm going to spunk the price for everybody. But I still think it's worth a bet. It's the 320 at Chester, and it's the scaffolders, Reed. This one, honestly, pulled the house down at York last time, and they went no sort of gallop. But then when they came into the straights and the pace quickened, he made a massive big race move without the jockey moving a muscle, and went from nearly last to just about sharing the lead, 2 furlongs out. Now, understandably, he emptied out, but this really ought to suit the searing pace on here, which should thin them out. He's got a great draw in 3. He's got lovely cruising speed. Even a useless cunt like Graham Lee should be able to put him wherever the hell he wants and pick his spot coming through. Turning track will help settle him. 1 point win. I think he's about 20s now.
It's still 25s with Paddy's Betfair, I think.
Managed to secure 33s.
Yep, 20. I'll give you, as it's with $2, I'll give you 25s.
Pretty sporting, I really.
Yeah, well, we've got to keep Quentin.
This would be a bet for me at 12 to 1.
Sound like Tony Calvin, John.
Yeah.
Well, this would be a bet for me at 12s.
25's a pony to kick us off. Brilliant, John. And John says he's still back in at 12. So, listeners, get stuck in when John's had some more before you can get listening to this pod.
I don't want any more. Obviously, I've had enough on it.
Right, fair enough. John's maxed out. Right, good stuff, John. And I love a big price to kick us off. Jack, coming to you.
Yeah, so over the 340 at York, Lee, the Macmillan Sprint Handicap. This horse won't be too unfamiliar to listeners. I've put it up on here before. Previous start, actually. Mill Stream of Jane Chapel Hyam. Dropped in class here back into handicap company. I thought he ran a poor race last time out, but you could tell on him that he definitely needed it. He was carrying a bit of condition, and I think he'll strip a lot better for this run. Drawn with plenty of pace around him. You got Raba in 7 who likes to go forwards. The horse in 10 whose name escapes me will go forward as well. Millstream probably will himself. I think there's quite a lot of pace on here, but I think although he is a 6 furlong horse, I think he stays that pretty well. I still see this as a group horse. I think this is There's a serious drop in class, should handle conditions, and I like to think he'll see his sights in better company later down the line. Had a few weeks to recover, and I think this could be a good race for him. So we'll stick with Millstream and a 1 point win.
1 point win, and that's 12-1, Jack, with Willie Mill, Coral, laddies of Boyle Sports, if I'll mention them. So 12's available for Jack. Yeah, Boyle Sports, remember them?
No.
No.
2 bets for them, I think.
Yeah, you don't last long with them. Right, so if you've got accounts with us, enjoy the 12's Millstream for Jack's first round bet. I'll carry us on then, and I'm heading to Bath. I could do with one, actually. I stink. But the 2:30 there is the 1.25 mile handicap, the feature race of the day.
I didn't even know Bath was on.
Yeah, absolutely. We love firm, don't we? Me and Quentin love firm and heavy. There's lots of angles when it's firm or heavy. I'm going for Princess T in the 2:30, trained by Neil Mulholland, ridden by Thrasher, and I think this horse has an outstanding chance, and I can't believe they've put it in at 6-1. I think they've overemphasised the 3-year-olds in the race on how good they are. I don't think they're very good. Personally, that's certainly Absolute Queen and Beautiful Eyes. I'm not keen on. I'd accept it if Yellow Lion beat me, but Princess T, she's a mare that probably listeners recognise as her over jumps more than the flat, but she's been busy in Jersey, mopping up in Jersey, winning quite a few flat races, and a mark of 51 underestimates her. She was unlucky at Windsor last time in running. Buick was in the saddle and he literally found every blind alleyway he could, and he got very narrowly beaten. I just think, and the form's been franked. I think there's been a couple of winners that's come out of the race, and I just think 6-1 is far too big. She'll love the firm ground. She's won. I think she's 2 from 3 or 2 from 4 when it's been actually time-based firm ground. So she's Aussie rules. Obviously, they like fast. So 6-1, a pleasure. Yes, it should be a lot shorter. I'd be sort of 3s, 100 to 30 for Princess T, but I've got better than that to come. So Princess T, 1 point win at 6-1. Quentin.
John's first bet was it was 4th on the list of mine, so I can came close to a klaxon, so a half klaxon there. But I think I got 3 better than that, so we'll crack on. 17.55 Leicester opener on the card. They put this chic Colombian or Colombini.
Columbine.
Call it Ainsby for the sake of me. They put that in short, understandable, strong in the market on debut. But I think I think the price disparity between that and Tiora is too great, and Tiora represents the value in the race at 18-1. Massive draw bias on the day at Haydock. Chic Colombine, CC was nearer the stand side rail before, keeping on the late doors. Absolutely fine, shaped as in 7 would suit. But Tiora was widest of all on the track, missed the beat at the start, slowly away on the back foot. Signs of life towards the death, just keeping on steadily. By time test, should improve for the extra furlong. 18s looks too big, would prefer a lower draw, but can't have it all at them prices. Apart from that, it looks a weak enough heat, and I suspect she'll improve on the debut effort here. Well, if it's close enough to rustle up the favourite, we'll see. But too big a price. 1 point win.
Lovely. 18-1 generally available. No favs tipped here so far. This is really good. Some big prices to kick round one off, and Quentin making a case for Tiora to potentially reverse the form with Chic Columbine, a short price favourite trained by George Bowie. So that's round 1. Lovely prices, chaps. I'll kick us off with round 2. Going to the 4:35 race at Sandown, and very keen on the Andrew Balding trained Rising Bay O'Sheen in the saddle. Bet365 have put this in a ludicrous 10-1. Well, how can it be 10-1 when it ran against Roea, who's been putting 11-4 sort of favish at Newmarket and was half a length behind it? And I don't think it was that busy, to be honest. And it was in the teeth of the gale, was Rising Bay that day. It was got the full brunt of the headwind, and it just got a half-arse ride, really. In 4th, I think there's a hell of a lot more to come. And I think this is potentially well handicapped. I think 7-1 is generally available, is still massive. I'd price this up somewhere near the 7-2 mark. This is not a deep race. This is not a strong race. There's a lot of fillies in here that look what they are. I don't think there's much hidden. So as long as Cooper Clark doesn't make the racing line where they come stand side, middle and far side, which can sometimes happen at Sandown, and we get funny results. I'm happy with Rising Bay at 7-1 to be my second best for 2 points win. Okay, come to Quentin.
My 2 point win bet league comes in the 14-15 at Sandown, and it's Bodegran.
Yes.
Yes. I suspect you've had some of the early prices, given it's now 7. But he needs a win to get into the Britannia. That's been the aim of the game. A win will get him in here, and it doesn't look a deep Britannia, to be honest. We thought it was going to be stronger. It don't look that way. Shaped well in the Silver Bowl, wider than ideal throughout. Ollie Doyle was on top, took a pole shock. Just shaped like the run was needed in the closing stages. He's gone through the race well enough to suggest that all is fine. Just blew up in the closing stages. You kind of look at his maiden form, second start, military order, end for jar, all around him there. They're listed class horses. Buick's up on top. Not sure. He's drawn 10, which initially Thursday morning was a negative. But kind of how the course has been ridden today, the round course, I'm not sure it's a glaring negative. You look at the second favourite. The second favourite's a keen, horrible bastard, and the rest really kind of just look exposed handicappers that have shown their hand. I know he's been well supported already, but I'd kind of have him in like 9-4-2 here. You know he's off for his life as well. So 2 points win, 100-30.
Yeah, 100-30 paddies. You can get 7-2 with Billy Mountains, but 100-30 for fairness in football prices. Betfair, Paddy Power, Bet Victor offering those odds for Quentin's 2-pointer. Bedorgan to improve from that crap ride that Ollie gave at Aydock a couple of weeks ago. Okay, thank you, Quentin, for that. Jack?
So yeah, 325 sticking at Sandown Lee. Again, I'm running the risk of being a bit boring here, but I think the mantra is I put these horses up until they win. So I'll be a bit of split stake wankering going on here. I'll start with Bacento, who I put up last week, and I had a horrendous week last week. I think I put 4 horses up and got 1 runner. So we're hoping for a little bit better than that at least. But yeah, same case as I made last week really. I think mark of 82 isn't his ceiling. I think main angle for me is I'm quite happy to take on the Chrisford Hot Pot Owl Island. Won by what looks of it a couple of quite mediocre all-weather novices in reasonable times. I noticed the last race at Wolves, those directly behind have been kind of put out of touch since, so I'm not too hot on that form. It looks a typical Chrisford Hot Pot that could be quite well beaten here, as many of them often are. So yeah, quite happy to stick with Bacento for 1 point of my win. And actually the other horse who £7, 7 notes a month lot will know very well is Coraggio. To be honest, I was very disappointed with his run at York. I fancied him a lot that day. He was well backed, just pulled too hard. And I think, I'm giving him one more go. I think hopefully the freshness off his back. I know Gobby Rog isn't exactly favourable around these parts, but I still think there's a horse here. He's got conditions to suit. And obviously, if we're split staking, 1 drawn in 1 and 1 drawn in 8, hopefully we're covering off any potential biases that goes on with Cooper Clark. So yeah, I think I'm quite happy to play these two against the Fav. I think prices look fairly reasonable, and be disappointed if one of them doesn't go in. So yeah, 1 point the pair, please.
Good stuff, mate. 11-2 Bacento with Bet365 888, and the same firm's 6 as Coraggio for Jack's split stakes. And hopefully Jack will get back on track with one of those in terms of either his 3-year-old to follow, which is Coraggio, for our Patreon listeners. I've just told everybody what it is.
It's all right. Cat's out the bag now.
Yeah, I think we're late in the season now. And Bacento, which of course Jack put up last week. Was it to Haydock and she pulled it out?
Yeah, I think Graham was too quick. I mean, I looked at times today. We're looking at probably quick-sided goods. I mean that should be fine for him. So hopefully they don't do the same again.
Yeah, they're idiots. They don't know what they're doing. Anyway, so yeah, I like that, Jack. Little split stake there in a nice little handicap in the 325. Jonas, finish the round.
Talking of idiots that don't know what they're doing. 4:30 at Chester, Tulsa Rock. Trained by the Quilt. Suited to a sharp left-handed 6 furlongs. This one won a year ago at Epsom off 82. Won the preceding year as well off 82. It's off 79 here. Both wins on grass, and his last three have been on the all-weather, which I think he's slightly worse on. These runs have all indicated he's been run fit, though, to me. I think he's coming nicely to the boil. He doesn't have to lead, but he goes handy. He's got a useful draw. The king of Chester in the plate, Franny Norton. What's not to like, really? My pace map has Bez's Lad as the only likely spoiler on the front end anyway. So trade out opportunity, if nothing else. 2 points win.
2 points at 11s for John. That's generally available. That's the only time he'll be cheering on Kilt, when he's actually on one of his probably potential 6 or 7 points to nothing. You've gone against.
You'll know the dance.
You've gone against West Ham here in Roman Dragon. You know, like.
Well, not only that, Lee, you're gone against my own fucking horse who's in that race as well. But
a disgrace, yes. Faro Descend 1.
Well, you took me ass, Jack, by sending him forward, couldn't you?
Well, yeah. I'll stay quiet on that one. I don't know who listens to this, but yeah, we'll see.
You scared at the biltong, crept in my pants.
Come on, Greg, lift him, Greg.
Come on, strike him. Does that sound Indian, John?
A little bit. Diplomatic immunity. Well, Franny Norton will revoke it tomorrow.
I'll play the forecast.
Yeah, indeed. Right, before we come on to the max bet round, just a couple of plugs really. First one is a new tier opening up on Patreon, which is the second tier upwards, and that's going to consist of us lot giving you daily bets to make you Quentin fortunes over the good time period. That's launching on Monday, so if you're interested in that floats your boat. Us marking your card on a daily basis with what we're actually backing ourselves, then that's something for you to get involved with. So watch out for your inbox if you're a Patreon member, and if you're not and you're a listener and you want your card marking by the Bar Stewards, this could be well worth your time checking out. Also, Royal Ascot is next week, and just to give you the timetable of shows, it's the Sunday sermon as normal with me, John and Chris, 19:30 BST Sunday.
We've got an exclusive tip for Ascot on that show as well. We've got inside info on the colour of the King's hat.
Well, at least we're not having to bet on the dress every year, John.
No, it's light grey on Thursday. Any better than 4's on is a max.
Yeah. Try and get on with Jeff Banks. I'm sure he'll like that.
He will.
Yeah, and his snake skin rhythms, John.
Yeah, absolutely. Snake skin platforms, he loves it, doesn't he?
Yeah, you got to show them to Animal Rising.
That's what I said to him. I said, go and meet him with them, man. They'll love it.
Right, yeah. So continue with schedule. So Sunday service is normal. Then Monday, it is the preview for Royal Ascot for Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday evening is going to be the preview for Thursday and Friday, and then the Friday show is normal. The Monday and Wednesday shows are Patreon only the night before, then free to air the morning after. The Friday show is free as normal, like this one is every week. So that's the timetable coming up. So I hope you enjoy it all, folks. Right, 3-point round. Without further ado, Quentin, you first.
I go to the 3 o'clock at Bath, the Bags meeting there. I think it's Maxfield's 6 or something tomorrow they've got in. 3 o'clock at Bath. Horse in question is Bint Havana Gold, and they've put this in Ragda Field, which is all sorts of wrong. Shaped very well on debut. It's by Havana Gold, sire that isn't renowned for first time out winners. They tend to improve at run. Very fast fluid mover, and wasn't suited by the slop at HQ on debut. Also inconvenienced that way by running into a stiff headwind. Form of that race looks okay, but she went well enough for long enough, got a bit lost in the dip and just kind of plugged on. Carrying condition, she's quite a strong filly. There's going to be more to come as the season progresses. The favourite is the right favourite, Unbreak My Heart. Right, that Salisbury run looks okay behind. I think it's Eve Johnson thing that put up a decent time at Bath previously, and the Haggis horse that took a step forward from debut at Windsor. But you've got this dabbling in at second favourite. She's had everything out for all to see. She's small, filly, was fit enough for her reappearance after 7 weeks off at Bath, and I feel she's shown her hand. Similar with Tokyo Drift, to be honest. These ammo horses, if they're not like this type of early type, if they haven't won by fourth start, then they ain't going to be winning anytime soon. They look short enough in the mark. I'm expecting significant improvement from Bint Havana Gold here, and she will be going close. 2 points win at 16 to 1, and a 1 point straight forecast 5 to beat 2, please.
Love it. Right, you've been listening to Davis. Davis loves these little.
Davis,
this is a Davis swivel forecast, just so he's not sick when Fab chins him. Yeah, I get it. But what a selection, Quentin. It's 16 to 1 as your max perk. I love it. It's priced wrong, and obviously the forecast with Unbreak My Heart to beat Bint Havana Gold as the saver. Love it. That's Davis. Old dogs, they've got a lot of good tips for, if you're learning your punting, like listening to Nick Davis. I think that's a good angle. That back your danger instead of having maybe dutching sometimes. Back the one you think's the danger to beat yours. This obviously works for Davis. Good stuff, Quentin, mate. John, coming to you for 3 points.
4 o'clock at Sandown. Cracks King. Probably ran in the best all-weather graduation race of the season, I thought, behind Lucia Wad and Road Cape. Both have gone on to better races. Road Cape ran especially well in the Silver Bowl at Haydock, I thought, which sort of indicated the kind of task that Cracks King was up against, making debut against those horses. He looked to be crying out for 10 furlongs that day. The other two had experience, as I say, yet he came away looking the better prospect. I don't personally think Bones will have a better 3-year-old in his yard. Cathab looked to be having second thoughts at York, I thought. Could have just been one of those York runs, but it was enough to put me off. They clearly weren't happy with it themselves because they're going straight up in trip now. And I think given the breeding on a Dublin lad, I get the impression he must have looked slow at home because he's late coming out, and I'd have thought that they'd given him one, maybe 2 over a mile at the start of the season. So 3 points win.
Interesting. Good stuff. 7 to 2 generally available for you, John, for your 3-pointer. Good case of Cracks King. And if you're a Patreon subscriber, you'll know John likes this from a physical standpoint in one of his earlier columns. So Cracks King, 3 points for John. We've got a great selection from Quentin. Jack, can you match any of these?
I hope I can, Lee. Yes, I'm all the way to Sunday. I'm going to be at King's Cross St Pancras, 8 a.m. Me and Blogger. We're on the train to Paris, selfie sticks in hand, and we're going to the Prix de Diane. So probably the flagship race of the weekend. And I think I got a bit of value in this one. Look, I think this is a decent race. You've obviously got the Blue Rose Sen, the Guineas winner, who's got the plum draw on 1. Probably think I'm an idiot for taking her on. I might well be, but I'll try and give you a bit of reasoning as to why. I think you can take Running Lion out of the equation. I think anyone who's watched these races know that the car park draw at Chantilly, I do feel a bit for young O'Sheen. Obviously lost his run at Epsom when she was playing up in the stalls, and now he's got a car park draw to deal with. But I think you can count that one out. And the horse I'm really keen on is the horse called Jana Rose. So the Prix de Allery winner. I like the form of that race. I think it's worked out pretty well. I feel like she won that with quite a bit in hand. You've obviously had the Sergeant Wilson horses come out and run okay in the Oaks on pretty unfavourable ground. Boogie Woogie of Aiden's, who was in 6th, ran a decent race in a Group 3 and was just a close enough second. Left C in 8th as pissed up on next start. So I think the form of that's pretty credible. And I just think this horse has done nothing wrong. It's 3 from 3 and won every one of those races pretty well. And I'm surprised to see with the few bookies that have priced her up, she's in at kind of 6 to 1, 13 to 2 in a place. And I just thought that looked completely overs to me. I think this horse has got nothing to prove. It's one rating below Blue Rose Sen in official ratings, and I can just see this one pressing on and flying home under Belgian Sumi from draw 7. Was pretty confident in all honesty, Lee, and quite happy to row in with a 3-point win.
Good stuff. Obviously, with no prices yet, so
There's a few up. You got Entain Boys at 6, Hills at 13-2. I mean, look, for me, anything above the sort of 4-1 mark, I'd be happy to row in with on Sunday even. So.
Well, if the 6 up on 30, you can have the 6. We'll give. Do you want the 6? Would you like the 6?
Yeah, happy to take that. Yeah.
Yeah, so 6-1 for Jack Attack, for Jana Rose, for Glory and the Prix de Diane. And he makes a very good point there about the wide draw there, because obviously that was the sort of modus operandi in the French Derby for me last year, spotting horses that had difficult trips from wide draws, and it was quite profitable in the season doing that. So maybe watch the video after that for horses that had bad trips, because it can be quite lucrative later on in the season. Right, good stuff, Jack. Well, I'll finish the round off then with an asthmatic horse. It's Bud Organ. I'm matching the Franks, the 3 win. I was on the floor at Haydock. I mean, Holly Doyle. Look, I really like the lass. I do. I like her as a person. I think she's an okay jockey. I do. I'm serious. But that ride was disgraceful at Haydock, because what you don't do for me as a jockey is you've got to make a decision one way or the other. She broke nice. So what did she do? She didn't do neither. She didn't drop in or she didn't push forward to get a position. She just literally sat, which I think is the worst thing you can do. And Bedorgan then had a ridiculously tough trip, had a ridiculous track position. I rated it second best on the day. Probably wouldn't have got to Curvy, I'll be honest. You've got to be unbiased here. But for me, Bedorgan would have been second. And Quentin, I say to you, what price would Bedorgan be had that been, say, 3/4 of a length behind Curvy in that Haydock race?
Off this weight, or with a
yeah, exactly. Off this weight. Let's say the handicapper says, I'm not putting you up. Right. Yeah, exactly. That's my price. 7-4. So I think 7-4, 100 to 30 is fine. I'm a bit sick that the prices have been took by someone today. But anyway, it's still a good bet. And me and Quentin have got the old asthmatic horse out for another klaxon. We have lots of klaxons lately. It's good. So that, hopefully, folks, that will provide your weekend's fare, give you the kebab money, give you a good pot for Ascot next week. We've got some terrific price selections in there, so I hope you all enjoyed the show so far. Right, preview time. TV races tomorrow. Unfortunately, we've just got an ITV 7, John, instead of 10, which is handy, isn't it?
Tragic, yeah.
So there's only, I mean, where they'll put Ken at tomorrow, if Ken's there, there'll only be 2 or 3 fabs that Ken can put up as a bet.
He likes York, Ken, doesn't he? I think he'll be at York tomorrow, can he?
Yeah. Got a bit of an anecdote on Ken, if we've got a couple of minutes.
Of course, yeah.
I was at the Newmarket Craven meeting, and I was walking up, the paddock when you get yourself up the top and get your viewing point, etc. Yeah. About three flights of stairs. He's the slowest walker of a set of stairs I've ever fucking seen in my life. I was desperate for a piss, and honestly, I was nearly pissing myself. I've never seen anything like it. I don't know what he was doing, but yeah, that's my longing memory of Ken. Other than saying that the 2 to 5 fav looks well.
Well, he might. You never know. He might be after Mark Howard's gig. He might be wanting disabled badge so he can sit on a bench and kick Mark Howard out of the way to get the racing TV gig for the laziest cunt on telly.
Like not doing that, doesn't it?
I know, right? I did that on Betfair Forum back in about 2008. Why is Mark Howard always sat down, the lazy cunt? It went down like a lead balloon. I was only pulling some people's legs, but yeah, there you go. That's me. Everyone hates me. Right, the opener at York kicks us off the Queen Mother Cup. This is where all these lady people that can't ride get a chance for the limelight and to win a race title that sort of befits them with the amateur legend status. So I'm thinking here.
What's Goose riding?
Goose. Well, no, actually, I was looking through the runners and riders, John, and I saw down the bottom of the field, riding Billy Roberts for Simon Whittaker, Mrs. Stephanie Bareback.
Isn't it Yardaback?
Oh, Jordan, sorry. I mean, you can be mistaken, can't you? Miss Stephanie Bareback for Simon Whittaker. Yeah, I mean, can I tell you? I mean, obviously, Simon Whittaker employed Jordan Lambert for a bit, John. So yes, old Simon, itching in his trousers. Swordsman Simon for Miss Stephanie Bareback, 33-1, Billy Roberts. Any thoughts on this race, chaps?
Yes.
Oh, good. Go on.
As you'll probably know, Lee, I am very much on the inside track with the current owner of the Sheffield Wednesday colours now that you've ceased to
exist.
Own race horses.
Yes.
And the current owner has a horse in this called Oscar Anarchy. And I have it on good authority that this is going forward tomorrow. And there's only the Camacho trained shake a leg figuring on my pace map against it. So anybody wanting to trade out at 16-1, this is definitely going forward from the 11 box.
So Miss Pippa Brown to get John 4 points for nothing.
She's going to the front and she's parking the bus.
Of the contenders, Kievar I thought was the right favourite. Obviously won very well in a decent handicap at York last time. Gets the best rider in the race. Bolin Margaret reappears quickly. She's a good mare on a day. She's in form. I do think, though, this trip stretches her, if I'm being honest. I think she's maybe better a bit short. I know she won at Thirsk easily over this trip, but the pace completely collapsed because they went bananas and she got the best ride that day. Dream Harder was very unlucky at Chester. Saratoga Gold, I thought, had every chance on the front end. I thought he's not very well handicapped. Brian Ellison's Impulsive One, again, very averagely handicapped for me. Same for Pursemark. There's not much depth to this.
Running the wrong one, Brian, isn't he?
Yeah. You'd have run one Smooth Operator, John.
I'd have run Chili.
Yeah,
Would you?
Yeah, definitely. Big eye catcher at Chester. All the pass at his best. Would have suited him down to the ground, I think. Wait for age as well.
Yeah.
But,
Another idiot.
They entered him at Ascot today, I think.
Yeah, he has.
So I'm guessing that's why they've given us a swerve, because they had Maxi.
Yeah, obviously, he'd rather win at Ascot, Brian, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Another idiot. Quentin, any view?
I thought the favourite was rock solid, to be honest. Nothing really not to like about the York form. Time strong last time out. Form's worked out. You reached the fourth, has bolted up into handicap since. I think you had said the second. I know the second Vegas Cecilia's JD, but it's well regarded by connections. I think John Baskill or someone owns it. 14th has come out and went well backed at Southall on Tuesday or Thursday or Wednesday, some stage this week. I didn't think there was anything wrong with the price, to be honest. Still looks to be wiggle room off a mark of 86.
Jack?
Yeah, similar really. I looked at the race, I have to admit, quite briefly, and looked at the Fav and thought, as Quentin said, there's not much to take on there. I like John's pace angle. That's probably how I'll play the race, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay, so we've sorted the Queen Mother Cup for you there. 2:15 Sandown is the asthmatic horse race for Bedorgan. The Buick in the saddle at 7-2. So me and Quentin spoken on this. John and Jack, any alternatives?
I can get a bit of news about one. New Dimension made a pretty great start winning on debut, then things went horribly wrong. Knocked a stifle second time up, just got shaded out of it. Had missed work going into the third run. Sluggish from the gate, jockey felt it was still failing something, so they checked him over, had him gelded, brought him back at August over the trip they thought might suit, but he didn't see it out. Then they decided, well, it's probably bottomed him out for the season, come back stronger at 4 years. They also had a productive spring, come with a decent pitch for this, and I think probably best caught fresh. The worry would be there's probably not a lot of pace on, and if he's a bit fizzy, he'll probably fuck it up.
So is it a strong message then, you think?
Yeah, I'd have been keen if there was guaranteed pace. I could see him getting dropped in, will get dropped in, and I could see him being a bit fizzy if they don't go a good clip. Be one for him running, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. Jack?
Yeah, no, couldn't disagree with your case on Bodorgan. That'd be how I'd play the race. I think price is on the skinny side, but to be honest, there's not loads to take it on with. I thought one maybe worth a mention was the Carl Burke horse. I can never get the name. Is it Eileen Dubb or some Irish punter will put me wrong, but yeah, off last winning mark. A few middling efforts this season, but has the ability to pitch up in one of these. And I thought 20s looked a bit overs, but yeah, I'd be quite strong on the Fav myself.
Yes, good stuff. Okay, so 235 at York is the 7 furlong Sky Bet Handicap. Darkness and Eligible are current 5-1 joints. I did like the course form for Eligible and Fortemore. I thought if you watch the video back, Fortemore was quite unlucky in the race because he was making ground with Eligible. Eligible would have still beaten him, but the finishing positions were just all wrong because Fortemore got chopped off. Just had no run whatsoever. But I'm not sure. I don't know if I like Stall 1 anymore at York, even over the 7. But I thought Fortemore needed sort of close attention and Eligible. Those are my two choices. Thoughts on this, chaps?
Darkness used to be what Rick James called Charlie Murphy and his brother Eddie back in the day when they were all partying.
Really?
Yeah, that was in the days before Wesley Snipes came along. Because at the time they were the two darkest on the scene. And
Apple Plain.
Yeah. If you go on YouTube and Google Charlie Murphy, Rick James, you will see one of the funniest videos in your life. I promise you. It's from the David Chappelle show, and it's Charlie Murphy's True Hollywood Stories. And the story of him and Rick James is unbelievably funny. You will piss yourselves.
Right, good stuff, John. Yeah, I'll look forward to that. Dave Chappelle. Are we Dave Chappelle fans?
Hey.
The silence was deafening.
Neither here nor there, really. Is he been cancelled yet? I can never keep up.
They are cancelled eventually.
Do you know? I don't watch any news, so I've absolutely no idea. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of edgy. I like. The thing is, this is our podcast. We're edgy, aren't we? So it's kind of good to hear edgy things where people get shocked by. Ooh, you can't say that. You can't say that.
Anyway, back to the race.
Yeah. Anyway.
Admiral D for the scaffolder again. Dropped in class, which I think he's been crying out for. He's also looked to me as though he's been coming along physically with each run this year. Not structure-wise, he's pretty much got his shape, but hard fitness-wise, he looked very slack for debut, a little bit tighter next time, so on and so forth. The draw put me off, including him as a bet stroke tip, but I think he runs very, very well in this.
Yeah, he's interesting. I think the fifth reappearance to Orazio was kind of quite good. So 88, you might be right, John. There might be a bit of leeway there. Quentin?
Snash for me. I was hoping John didn't giving it Zappy Tim's horse, but I think Dave took him to the inside rail at Thirsk on the 20th of May. He knows how that plays dead as a dodo. Heavy ground on reappearances. Tims were needing a run at that stage. 0-105 last time out. There were signs of life. I don't think the stand side at Hamilton's been the best place to be the last few weeks. And he was just plugging on at the death, to be honest, suggesting, I know he's not 1/7, but I'm pretty sure he gets 7. Just keeping on through the line. He's down another £2 here, down in class. Looks to be enough pace in the race. And I think 20s, I think it's 22s generally, 20s, 25s in a place even is pretty big, to be honest, in a race where I kind of didn't think anything was overly well handicapped. You've got a horse that's dropped down below its last winning mark, capable jockey on, and is a pony in a place.
Good stuff. Yeah, I like it. Big price. Like you said, the trip may be a concern. I don't know. Obviously, all wins over 6. Don't know if that's like an issue there. But like you said, the price, I'm not going to crib that at all. Jack?
Yeah, I think the one I came down on was eligible. I think you gave him a mention there, Lee, but I thought that last win could be marked up. He missed the start completely. Came from the rear, which, as we know, is pretty tough these days from not a great draw. Only up £3. I thought there might still be some juice in that mark, but the 5-1 is probably on the skinny side. Yeah, wouldn't probably a no bet race for me, but if it were to be one, it would be eligible.
Good stuff. 250 Sandown is the Scurry Stakes. Great State heads the market at 7-4. I thought that was a bit of value at 7-4. I'd be sort of 5-4. Stall 2 would be good. The inside now, it's quick, no problem on the sprint. Podica for me is drawn wide. And I've just got a feeling she might be just better on with a bit more give in the ground. It's only a hunch. I just get that feeling that quick ground, she wouldn't be as good. And for that reason, Great State for me would be a bet at 7-4. I'd be more like 5-4. Quentin.
I thought, yes, he's the most likely winner, but I think at the prices, it's a pain in the arse, to be honest. Just the way I can see the race playing out, he's down on the rail. He's got things coming over the top of him. He's not really a travelly sprinter, is he? Like,
no.
He was off it early at York, and I can half see him getting caught in some sort of pocket, and there's not too many places to go at Sandown. You're slap bang against the rail. The way I'm personally playing the race, I'll be looking to lay in pre-race and then back in the run, or just leave some money up at like 7-2, something like that. I think he trades a fair bit higher than whatever his SP will be.
Yeah, but you make a very fair point there. So coming to you, John, this is not one for John's back to lay shack.
It could be, actually. Lady Hermana.
Oh, the Burt thing.
Yeah, basically went to Shanty in March. Probably needed the run. Ran all right. Second time up, went prominent at Chelmsford over 6. Weakened out, lost 2 places from about 100 yards out. Did not see it out for me. And I think they thought they'd got the horse right that day, but the trip caught them out. I think back down to 5, excellent draw. The yard could hardly be in better form. They're winning with everything still. I just think this could be a bit of a turn-up.
25s, that's an interesting shout. I mean, she's got pace. We saw that last year.
Cheap pieces going on to liven her up and get her out the box, you know?
Yeah. The Racing Post have her still down as a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
She did fucking
well. I've got it in front of me as well.
She did fucking well to win at Wolverhampton as a yearling by 3 3/4 wins.
Can mark her up for that.
Yeah, what's good off there? Where's the weight for age? Come on, man. Absolutely. Jack, any of you?
Yeah, Danger and Magpie in there. That's why you got the ooh from me, because I thought Lady Hermana was interesting, certainly at the prices. First time pieces, back in trip, decent draw. You want to be drawn low in the sprints at Sandown. Completely agree that I feel Great State might get stuck on the rail and might have one fly past him. So yeah, at an each way price, I thought Lady Hermana was definitely interesting. I like Podica, but I think she's one of those typical Bowie types. Yeah, highly tried. She reminds me a bit of that Oscula from last year or the year before. I think she might have done a winning by this point. But yeah, I thought Lady Hermana was certainly interesting, and that owner doesn't really mess about. I see they bought her last summer, yeah, he'll be wanting a few quid back, and he might get it here.
That owner sounds fantastic, doesn't he? Zhang Yao Sheng.
Yeah, he's got a few with old Jesse, I believe. So yeah, be interesting to see how this.
I like the sound of Zhang. I think he'd be good to hang out with.
Zhang bang.
He'd do a good party with Zhang, I think.
Yes.
Hookers, Big Bully Charlie, all that, you know.
Right. After that, Big Bully Charlie, etc. 305 York, Skybet. Race to the Ebor. John, I'm coming to you first because you fucking love the Ebor. And I'm sure you're going to give me something about Roberto Escobar here.
Well, I can see him running well. I just don't think he can beat Israel, to be honest.
No.
I think it's a power race, really. I was hoping for something a bit. But don't you think they could do with this being a handicap? Because it's not really relevant to the Ebor, is it?
Yeah, no, I agree. There's no point having a
you know, whatever wins it's going to go up a couple of pounds or whatever, you know, and you know, it's got no bearing on the Ebor, like in this particular state, has it? I mean, that new race at Ascot's going to have more bearing in it, the mile 6 handicap.
What you could do, is use the imagination and have a 90 to 110 handicap open to 112 rated horses, that kind of thing. So then you like you say, it makes it more like, imagine this is a betting heat, and like now as an handicap, it'd be fascinating. But like you say, it's not that fascinating as a betting heat. The betting looks probably more or less about right to me as it stands.
I agree. Yeah,
Israel's probably just the right fav. Quickthorn ran in a good race last time, as we know. Roberto probably just short, but John hopes he gets beat anyway because he probably wants to back it for Ebor again in August. That's how I saw the race. Quentin and Jack, any view?
No, I was the exact same as you guys. Thought it was priced right. It's hardly an appealing heat, to be honest, and was happy to kind of pass it over fairly quickly.
I suppose if Holly gets carted, she could spoil things for Quickthorn and make his round at odds-on poke.
That was my point. I thought the two of them go off like the clappers and could set up for something to come and take it. But as we've spoken about with these staying races, it pays to be up the front these days with the whip rules. So yeah, be interesting to see. But I could see those two going hammer and tong and something coming up, and yeah, would likely be Israel, wouldn't it?
The uninteresting race onto a more interesting race, which is the 320 at Chester, the Edinburgh handicap, and Taff Reach heads the market at 7-2. Not drawn that great. Obviously, we've got tips in the race here. John with Reed. It nearly made Quentin's 3, did Reed. Jack, views here?
Yeah, well, obviously, Man of Eden's out this evening, so you'd imagine he'd come out, and that'll probably mess the market around a bit. So probably want to be careful if you're backing at this time of day. I thought Sophia's Starlight was somewhat interesting off bottom weight. Looks like there's a little bit more to come from her. Drawn quite well. I could see her running a decent race, but no, certainly like John and Quentin's case on Reed.
Yeah, Quentin, do you agree with John on Reed?
Yeah, it's just like you kind of look at the race and it's drawn free. It's going to get the perfect setup, and as John said, there's a load of pace. You've got Saxon's King that's going to go forward, Sophia's Starlight that's going to go forward, probably in these shoes as well. Venetian, they're all drawn out wide. As long as Lee can hold his pitch, then he's going to travel in behind. He tanked through York, and I don't think this is as deep as kind of the numbers suggest. Saxon King was shown the best effect at York last time out. Man of Eden's likely an on-run. I was quite underwhelmed with Tafrige, and that's drawn 8. It just looked right for something that's going to travel through the race, drawn on the rail or near to it, and Reed just kind of fitted that profile. Ground-wise, I'm not sure he would want it as quick as York, but there's some thunderstorms forecast potentially at Chester, which will be another positive. And yeah, just at the prices, he just looked overpriced, to be honest. That's pretty much it, to be honest.
Yeah, no, good stuff. I like it that it was your 4th selection, potentially, on your list. It could have been a double Claxon again. So we move on. I've got no real view on that at all in terms of having a bet. I love John's and your case for Reed, so we'll leave it at that. 340 is the 3-year-old Coral Sprint. Used to be the Coral Sprint for years, but they're skint now and they're not sponsoring anything. They've got this racing club where they're getting harvesting email addresses, the bastards. So they're not bothered about chucking a few quid at this York race. It's the Oakmere Homes supporting Macmillan Sprint handicap for 3-year-olds. Washington Heights heads the market. That was close to being on my 3, only because I was way wanker, because it's 6 places and all that lot. And, I thought Washington Heights was probably the right choice, but they found it now. It was like 12-1. Quentin, you asked me the other day, didn't you, for the dandy naps? And I said Washington Heights, and it was like 12s. And it was like, ooh, 12s, that's nice. 7s now. It's depressing. Frank Spencer in the saddle. But I think it's the right draw. Quinault, I think he's a really progressive 3-year-old. I think he had more in hand than the length it beat Washington Heights by. But I don't like the draw in stall 20. I don't like it on the wing. I just don't. York, traditionally, I want them sort of middle to sort of semi-low, not too low, but 5 is perfect for Washington Heights. I think that's got to get a nice run through. I know Jack's very keen on Millstream, and I can understand why. He's a class act. He's got 80 Marlborough and a fat line of Colombian in the saddle for you, Jack.
Yeah. Well, he's got a couple of well-earned weeks off, hasn't he? So, if it was any Albanians in Newmarket, you know who to call. But Apple clean.
Yeah, good old marker. That's why we say apple clean. We tell it like it is. That's why it's clean. No shit on here. So that's my take on the race. It's boring, and because it's tipping the head of the market, which the market always seems to find these days overnight, Quentin. It's boring, isn't it? We do all the work. We're excited for things, and then when we get to the evening before, it's like the Roy Hodgson gif, isn't it? You're excited.
Yeah. Someone's either leaked this or put mine up, because it's gone kind of 14s, 12s, 10s, 9s, 8s as it always does. So good stuff as always.
Yeah, we've got hackers. Definitely Russian hackers. Quentin, your view on this?
I like the Quinault Washington Heights form from HQ, but the one that I would take from the race is Double the Prize is Eminency, to be honest. It came third there, pulled its nuts off under John Farhey. Danny Tudhope on tomorrow. Shaped well at Windsor. Standside played that day, was further away from the rail than ideal. Came third. Time looks fine. Just think the race sets up a lot better with Quinault. He's got the hair to chase over there. He can come centre if he wants to. Kind of felt 16-14 was more than fair, given he was a length behind him at HQ, doing a hell of a lot wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm making the case, obviously, for Washington Heights. Quinault, that's the head of the market, and you've rightfully said this horse was just behind them, and he's 16s. Good stuff, mate. Yeah, John.
I back Jack. I think potentially there's still a few pounds wiggle around with this horse. I loved the second to Noble Star last year. Palpably didn't stay in the Acom, and he looked as fat as butter on debut this year. So I don't see why he wouldn't be giving him another chance.
I like it. Right, so John agrees with Jack, and Quentin agrees with John on his Chester selection. So this has been a good show, folks, and we hope we can
lots of consensus.
Yeah, which is quite kind of good, because we don't confer. No conferring on this show. So yeah, so we like it. So we've got a Claxon bet that we hope will do the business.
It's like university challenge for people that wouldn't get bet in a university, isn't it?
Or just be employed by anyone ever.
Yeah.
So I'm not speaking for you, Jack. I'm just speaking for me, John and Quentin.
Long, so.
Yeah. Me, John and Quentin, the vagabonds of the game. Hopefully, we provide you with entertainment and also lots of winners. So don't forget to join us for our Ascot next week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday are our pods, and also the Sunday sermon, where we've got plenty to talk about, and we wheel Chris back out to unleash his rage on the world. That's all from us tonight. Thank you for listening. That's me, John, Quentin and Jack signing out. Bye for now.